Association President. She has dedicated countless hours to bettering our program and the university. At this time, I would like to invite Casey Robinson to the podium to give her commencement address.
Thank you, Michaela. They could not have picked a more emotional or nervous person to give this speech, so I'm going to try to get through it without any tears. I'll see. I'm not making any promises, though. Good afternoon. I'm honored, humbled, and, as I mentioned, slightly nervous to have the opportunity to speak to you all today. And that's my dad. As I considered the many things I could speak about from the prompt graduation address, I decided to attempt to answer the famous question people in our field are commonly asked, and the question that many of our loved ones probably find themselves commonly asking, which Dr. Biddix also gave us a little tip on earlier today. But what is a Master's of Science in College Student Personnel? What exactly is it that we do? Now, much to the disbelief of some, no, it's not just a way to stay in college forever, or to simply relive our college glory days, and we definitely know it's not for the paycheck. Instead, it's much, much more than that, because in my humble opinion, at its core is a master's degree in making a difference. Now, some of our professional associations and developers of standards would want me to stand up here and tell you that an MS in College Student Personnel is a master's degree program designed to prepare student personnel administrators to serve the student and administrative needs of colleges and universities. Whew. However, you'd probably still find yourself thinking, what on earth does that mean? So, I'm going to go with a different approach, telling you what this program, these experiences, and ultimately this fancy hood are all about. Educating. Working more than our required hours and doing so with a smile and strange amounts of energy we had no idea we possessed. Navigating students on their personal search for meaning in life, for purpose, and what we like to call truth. We are scholars, we are practitioners, and we are pupils. We are the wizard behind the curtain of all the magic that happens on a college campus. We are realizers of every student's promise and potential. We have especially mastered the art of emailing, particularly the beauty of out-of-office replies. We are constructors of connections. This degree is about believing in the dignity, uniqueness, potential, and worth of each individual with whom we come in contact. When the path becomes rocky or things do not go as planned, we are the ones, usually with a name tag, who stand strong against our own fears and doubts, press forward, and model the way for our students. It is connecting what our students are learning inside the classroom to what they are doing outside of the classroom. You know, the other 85% of the college experience. Oftentimes, we are the sought-out words of affirmation, the smile, the shoulder to lean on, and provider of advice on late nights, early morning, and midday. We are catalysts for reflection and inquiry. This degree is about encouraging conversation and communication instead of stifling it, no matter how offensive the idea may be to some. It is cultivating relationships and building a family and a home away from home for ourselves and others. Our greatest professional rewards are intangible. We are servant leaders, we transform others' lives, we make a difference. So, now that I've attempted to wax poetic for you all about this degree, let me maybe more importantly share with you what this has meant for the UT CSP cohort of 2012. It was finding joy, excitement, and energy when the rest of us were in despair, and assessing the assessment of the assessment for assessment. It was always using well-placed wit and humor and providing an opportunity for values-based involvement through establishing a new fraternity chapter on this campus. Got it. I'm good. I warned you in the beginning, so it's going to be all right. All right. It was simultaneously believing in the purpose of rules and valuing student development when answering those 3 a.m. phone calls from RAs. All right, got it together now. It was assisting students who once felt lost and confused and mapping out their plans for a fulfilling career and a future. It was helping students with disabilities find strength and empowerment in all of their collegiate endeavors. It was providing clarity for all of the general education and major requirements in order to provide students with the tools for success and persist to a 4-year graduation rate. It was having the courage to challenge the process and making insane amounts of spaghetti, grandma's special recipe, and that delicious pudding surprise. It was helping students realize a vision and a plan for change, through coordinating and implementing the first ever session of Leadership on this campus. It was creating the opportunity for much needed conversations and reflection through engaging students, faculty, and staff in diversity dialogues. It was making sense out of a new world, a new language, and an entirely new culture to students from all over the globe. And well, for me, it was the honor of spending 2 years with and getting to know some of the most phenomenal scholars, practitioners, friends, mentors, and what I now consider family in the field of college student personnel. It is through each of our varied individual and collective experiences that we have hopefully left the University of Tennessee better than we found it, and now go forth to impact others across the country and beyond. However, we would be remiss to celebrate the beauty of our degree and experiences without taking the time to recognize the many individuals who supported us as we strove to support others. Thank you, parents, family members, partners, friends, mentors, and especially our incredible faculty and staff. At this time, I would like to invite my cohort to the front as we recognize those in the CSP program who have guided us both in and out of the classroom. Come on. First up on our list is Miss Emily Parker. So if you don't mind joining us up front, Miss Emily Parker. We have a thank you for you. Yeah, now I had to stand up here and be all embarrassed, so everyone else gets a turn too.
So Emily Parker serves as our College Student Personnel Association advisor. Where's she going? Casey, Drew, and I had the pleasure of being officers for our class and putting on a number of great programs and interview weekends and orientations, and we could not have done it without the hours of time spent in Emily's office. So she is wonderful and we love her, so thank you very much for making us successful.
And now we would like to thank Dr. Melissa Shivers.
Although we didn't have the pleasure of having Dr. Shivers as a professor this year, lucky first years, she has acted as a mentor and a leader and a committee member for most of us, and we couldn't have graduated without her in many cases. So thank you, Melissa, for everything and being such a great role model to us all.
Give a shout out to Jenny Wright, who taught our higher education law class. She couldn't be here today, but we wanted to thank her publicly for being our, we had lively discussions in our law class about educational issues, legal issues, which we had many to choose from to talk about, and it was quite a fun class.
Now I would like to thank Dr. Dagenhart.
Hello again. Dr. Dagenhart taught our student development theory course, and I don't think any of us will ever forget her counselor side when some of us were struggling in class and she started to whisper to us about different theories and how students develop, and it really made us all feel comfortable and like we were learning a lot in class. So thank you so much for everything that you did for us over the last 2 years.
Now I would like to thank Dr. Biddick.
Well, as second-year students, we missed the opportunity to have Dr. Biddick in class, but Mary Beth and I are especially thankful for him because without knowing us at all, or if we had any ability to write, he willingly took us on as our committee chair for our problems paper. So thanks, Dr. Biddick.
I know that the future cohorts are so fortunate to have you as a professor, so thanks.
Now I'd like to thank Dr. Margaret Salee.
Dr. Salee,
Margaret.
we have a few words of thanks for you.
And I'll tell you what he's really like.
You're awesome.
You are an APA warrior princess.
You taught us lots.
You have a wonderful way of telling us what we really need to hear through track changes.
Your snickerdoodle cookies are awesome.
How sating.
And we really appreciate everything that you've done for us.
We really appreciate everything that you've done for us.
And now we'd like to thank Dr. Mertz.
Dr. Mertz, we can't thank you enough, not only for running our entire program and putting up with all 12 of us in the good times and the bad, but also for providing some of the liveliest and most challenging discussion around that round table in the conference room in Claxton. Thank you so much for all of your support and love.
And finally, and as we all know, certainly not least, we would like to show all of our gratitude for Dr. Grady Bogue.
So finally we've come to the bogeyman. But actually, he's right behind me now. But I suppose in this formal environment we should just stick to Dr. Bogue for right now.
My name is Justin.
And my name is Drew.
Although in class, he likely remembers me as Drew.
And me as Justin.
And sometimes we're just both Steve.
If you didn't know it already, Dr. Bogue is a leader in higher education. He's a former university chancellor and received his first doctorate from the University of Memphis, or Memphis State, as it was back then, and worked for Tennessee Higher Education Commission, and even was an instructor of physics for the U.S. Navy.
This leadership came into the classroom and inspired each of us to think critically about what this whole higher education thing is really all about. Although he published several books and over 50 articles, his lessons often came outside of these texts and at times that you'd least expect.
Okay, so take for example a lesson we learned in our research methods class. To set the scene, we're giving presentations, but a tornado warning was running for the area. The rain was coming in sideways. Trees were blowing all around. Plenty of lightning and thunder. We're getting text messages from our friends and family concerned for our safety. And sorry, Dr. Bogue, we were texting in your class. So it was pretty bad outside, you know.
So we're giving these presentations on the pilot studies that we conducted when suddenly the power goes out. Now, that's not a good thing if your presentations are on PowerPoint and you're reliant on the graphs that you stayed up all night to prepare for this class. But Dr. Bogue's leadership helped keep us all calm despite the weather. He slowly stood up and said in a calm and supportive voice, "Let this be a lesson to all of you. You should always bring a hard copy of your presentation."
And so no matter the weather, I will always bring a hard copy, even today.
So thank you, Dr. Bogue, for inspiring and challenging us, sharing your wisdom through your stories, and for scaring us to death on our final exams, only to let us take them together as a group.
Together today, we would like to give you a gift card to a restaurant you told us that you and your wife love to go to, so we'll probably just give that to your wife if that's okay. And we'll also give you a booklet that we put together around the question you posed to us on the first day of class, Never Let Us Forget, and that's, what is it for? The it, of course, being the purpose of higher education and the college experience. So, once again, thank you, Dr. Bogue, for all that you've done. And afterwards, I think we're going to invite you to give us a few words of wisdom.